Steve, do you know what I really like about monster movies?
What?
When a monster never shows up.
Well, what?
Well, I do like when his foot shows up. Or random body parts,
We watching 98 now?
I think so.
Yeah. Yay! Then you see the entire body. Yay. Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name's Arnaz.
And today we are going to be going over a newer monster movie because, one, we haven't watched an older one yet, mainly because I'm actually in the process of getting a house right now. So because of this, it's been kind of hard to get us with a same schedule to get over here to actually watch giant monster movies since I pretty much own them all and I don't like giving them out because I'm greedy.
Oh, he likes to give that out. He's just lying. Trust me.
I don't know. I'm sorry. So today we're going to do a review of an old review that we did a long time ago on another channel when we started way back when. So we're going to go over the movie Godzilla 2014 because initially we did it when it came out.
I thought we were doing Cloverfield.
Maybe some other time. I don't mind talking about Cloverfield.
But Cloverfield was such a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It came out of the ship.
I like Cloverfield. Wait, what?
I don't know. I thought it came out of the ship that came. Or was
it's just like, literally like you saw it at the end of the movie where they were going up in like the Ferris wheel. And you just see the monster just like whew, right into the water. Because it was like a baby monster. It just crash lands into the water. It wasn't a ship.
So it's...
He's kind of like a meteor.
So it's a King Ghidorah? It came from space?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wait. Excuse me. King Ghidorah.
Thank you. But anyways, we're going to go over the legendary Godzilla because I kind of wanted to put this review back out anyways because I kind of lost the old video for it.
He didn't lose it. He just deleted it, just like all of our other stuff.
Yeah, I only have so much space on my computer, man.
Like that pictures for the disliked animes that we put up.
Yeah,
that's what was missing.
That was my bad.
Hey, but you know what?
It seems fine.
It worked. It got more views than other stuff.
Yeah. I'm not
wanted
hindering anything, if you know what I mean. So we're going to put out this review again, especially since it's been a little over a year now since Godzilla 2014 came out. Just kind of wanted to do a little update to it as well, in case our opinion changed from when I originally saw it when it first came out. Which was probably one of my favorite movie experiences I've had next to Star Wars Episode 1, which was actually a pretty funny experience for me. Because we had a bomb threat in the middle of that one. So I got to miss the literal worst part of the movie.
So you had the good experience then?
Yeah, I made it to the pod race and then the theater had to shut down.
Did you get your money back at least?
Yeah, I got to go see it again and then I was even more disappointed than originally. But I was going to finish that movie, damn it. But there was that. I remember having a really good time with Freddy vs. Jason. Where he was doing like a pinball thing and everybody in the theaters was like, yeah!
You know what was my good experience? Dragon Wars. You know
God,
why?
no.
Do you know why?
Because you got to walk out.
Yes, because I walked out.
It's like, really, movie? I just got to go get my money back.
Jurassic World was good.
Yeah, Jurassic World actually was pretty fun going to it. And then there was 2014, which I remember the theater. It was like mostly quiet. You hear a little bit of chitter chatter. Except when you got to the Godzilla confrontations and then the whole him doing his atomic blast thing in the theater went from you hear a little bit of chitter chatter here and there to dead silence. And you just hear as it's going out the back, and then right when he shot it off, everybody's just like, yeah! It was awesome.
I remember that.
Then the kiss of death. We also had that part where just everybody's cheering too.
Where he was like, ah!
Yes, King Kong's like over the top King Kong style right there.
Just.
Yeah. But first, we'll get into the plot of the movie, which if you guys haven't seen it, essentially it's
who hasn't seen?
Yeah, imagine if you watched our super unimportant reviews. I hope to God you've seen Godzilla 2014. But if you haven't, it's okay. We will forgive you.
He will, I won't. That's nonsense. Story. 2 eggs hatch on the opposite side of the world. They unite as one. They make babies. Godzilla comes in. He doesn't like it. They're eating his radiation. He steps, kicks one with the tail. The other one pukes in his mouth. The end.
And the title of this movie is Cockblock, the film.
There you go.
And there's your title. And there's your movie.
Cockblocker.
Pretty much for the plot, though, I actually really enjoy this movie for the most part. Mainly because, in terms of the realm of possibility, this actually seems more feasible in terms of actually happening in real life than most of the other Godzilla movies I've ever seen.
It works.
Except maybe 1985 or 54. Those actually seem pretty realistic, too.
54 was good. I haven't seen 85, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I can't say 85. 85 is pretty good. It's kind of like the same kind of film, except he fights something in it.
Doesn't he fight something in this one too?
Well, yeah, he fights two things.
Because two are better than one?
Exactly. More the merrier.
He was just jealous because, the other one had a
Yeah,
mate.
there's like, they were in love, and he had nobody to love. We met the person that he probably loved. It was dead by the things that were trying to make babies.
This sounds like familiar, like some of the other movie I've seen. Like the...
So
Yeah, I saw it. This Godzilla definitely sounds familiar. What was that? Was that Rodan? Yeah, it was Rodan.
Oh yeah, where they're in the mines early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie begins with mines. There's monsters in the mine. These monsters spawn even bigger monster that eats the things that came from the mine.
And then they try to have babies, and Godzilla's like, no. But there's no Godzilla in this one, so I guess they get a pass over.
Yeah, Godzilla's in this one.
No, I'm talking about the Rodan movie.
Okay.
There was no Godzilla in the Rodan movie to stop their love.
Yeah, that's true. There's a volcano. Wah, wah, wah. Overall, I think the movie has a pretty good structure for it overall, where it kept me invested throughout the entirety of the movie. Also, this movie strangely reminds me of Jaws.
Didn't see that one coming.
Well, I'll explain, because for one, Godzilla isn't really in this movie a whole lot. Kind of like in Jaws, you only got to see bits and pieces of him throughout the movie. Kind of like as a tease, keep you invested. Because early on, you get pretty much the skeletal of Godzilla, keeps you invested. Then there's these new monsters, and you're like, hey, these are pretty cool. I'm mainly here to see Godzilla, though. I want to see them fight. What do they do? Eventually, m.u.t.o and Godzilla, the flying one anyways, meet up in Hawaii. Looks like shit's about to go down. It doesn't actually, because it's still teasing you until we get to the end final confrontation.
Okay, so who did Jaws
Guess what happens in Jaws? It's a lot of teasing. Shark shows up at the very end.
But who
Just
was,
wrecks some mayhem, and it's awesome.
who was the other monster that was fighting the Jaw?
Drunken fisherman.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was the monster.
Yeah, it's just like, they are the monsters. Alcohol. Don't do it. And I know for me, it worked really well. I know a lot of people had a lot of problem with that, actually. Where they was like, oh, there wasn't enough Godzilla, there wasn't enough fighting and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. Mainly, this movie was originally just to help build up a story so that we can eventually have sequels, so you kind of have to have a little bit of backstory for everything. Like with Monarch, they pretty much tell you about the organization that they had there. With how Godzilla works, where he's kind of like there to restore a balance, and he's also just there to eat things that are radioactive. And that there's also other monsters in this world too, like the m.u.t.os. And if you read the comic books, there's even more monsters.
Like?
I forget their names, but there's like this weird, like, essentially how they explained it, it's like a reef system, where it's a bunch of microorganisms that combine to make one really big one. And Godzilla fights it, and that's when, like, he gets nuked, but Godzilla lives.
Poor Godzilla.
Godzilla, awesome.
He didn't do nothing wrong to these people.
Yeah, but just the way it was structured, it didn't really bother me. Like, I really actually enjoyed the teases for the most part, especially when they panned away just to show it on the TV. I thought that was actually pretty clever. I know a lot of people didn't appreciate it, but I thought it was pretty funny.
I was one of those people who didn't appreciate it.
I'm
I just
sorry
want
for
to see
you.
Godzilla fight.
I know, you had to wait till the end, like most other giant monster movies. There were some teases here and there. You got to see some destruction with the other monsters. If anything, you actually got to see a decent amount of giant monsters in the movie. Even though it might not have been Godzilla, you still got pretty much your bang for your buck, though. Because you got to see the m.u.t.os repeatedly. They got to destroy some stuff. You got to see Godzilla walk through a bridge. You got to see him with these the destroyer ships where they're like on his back when he's rising out of the water. And he crashes through the building. That was awesome. Or the bridge. That was awesome.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he destroyed a few buildings too.
Oh yeah. When he smashes the m.u.t.o with his tail, he's like, ugh! Right into the side of it.
Poor m.u.t.o.
Yeah. For the acting, really like the acting in this movie overall too.
This is where you lose me.
I know, he's gonna hate. Like, Bryan Cranston's character, Brody's actually definitely the best in this movie. Which is kind of sad that he dies off really early on. And if you guys haven't seen it, spoiler. I hope you've seen it by now.
Yeah, he's the best one in there, and they kill him off. God.
Yeah, he's not in there for... He's in there for, like, I'd say, like, about 20-ish minutes.
Yeah, what?
It's mainly for the early part, and then we move on to Ford being the main character from there on out.
Who?
Which is Ford, his kid.
Who?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who
I thought was okay of an actor.
Who?
He did his part appropriately, and I appreciate him for it. Wasn't anything over the top, but the way it was scripted and done in the movie wasn't anything over the top anyways. It's cool, I got this. Just gotta spice it up a bit.
You can't spice this guy.
Spice this up with giant
garbage,
monsters.
Man. God, I hated him.
He was fine.
Well,
He seemed like a normal military dude. Nothing special.
Exactly.
But that's just the way his role was.
He was supposed to live up to hype.
He was mainly there just so that we could keep getting giant monsters to show up through this movie. We need that person. He was it.
Please use somebody else in the next movie.
Well,
I don't like her.
I imagine for like the sequels, they're probably only going to really be using the other actor I thought was actually pretty good and pretty underutilized in this movie, which was Ken Watanabe as Dr. Serizawa.
He just wanted to bring monsters together, man.
And the epic line, just let them fight.
See?
Yeah, which is definitely used in like everything nowadays.
Exactly.
And the guy's an amazing actor, and like his scenes too were awesome, even with the Navy general, which I don't remember the dude's name, but I know I've seen him in other stuff. Yeah, it wasn't really like a super important character, just kind of mainly to be there as your military guy. But he worked really well too. Like there wasn't really anybody I hated.
No, I just hated that guy. And his wife.
His wife was kind of whiny. But then again, I guess I'd be whiny too, where my husband goes off to go get his father, ends up having to have conflicts with giant monsters. But what does he do? Keep putting himself into conflict with giant monsters.
And now
like, did he need to ride the train over to carry the nuke into San Francisco? No. Could he just flown back with everybody else? Yes. But he is a trooper.
He's a douche.
USA. USA.
He's still a douche.
Oh! And then next we'll go on to the most important thing about this movie, the giant monsters. Which, for the Godzilla suit, I actually really love this Godzilla suit. It would definitely be in my top 10 of all time.
Was this a suit or CGI?
It's CGI. I call them suits, but for this one, it's full CGI. But I thought he looked really cool, especially where they kind of kept him in the more dinosaur look. Say with Godzilla 1998, where he is very raptor-esque in appearance and super dinosaur shaped. Remember, they kind of like inspired with the iguana and the weird spikes and whatnot. Well, this Godzilla, they had the normal, like the more spike-shaped dorsal fins, but they were more like mountain kind of shape to him. But he still looked like Godzilla. Like he stood upright. He still had the more like shorter, predominant face compared to his large girth of his body. But I did like what they did with the scales, though. Instead of it being more reminiscent of nuclear or radiation victims, where their skin would actually wrinkle up. And that's where you get like the look for Godzilla's skin. It's supposed to be an homage to that. Well, in this one, it was meant to more look crocodilian and more dragon-like, because they were actually going with him more being a creature of radiation, not made by radiation. But for the Godzilla suit, I actually really enjoyed it. I guess my only real complaint was the feet were weird.
They were too small.
They were small. Nowadays, especially after I've seen it more and more, I've gotten used to it. I still think they're small, though.
I'm looking for a bigger. Oh, yeah, look at that. Like, look at that foot right there.
Well, yeah, the SH Monster Arts ones actually have more elongated toes.
Man, this is just like baby feet.
Yeah, like in terms of his body, like you think they'd be a little bit bigger, but then again, they were more like elephant looking. So I imagine it's just how they designed it to kind of.
So he's an elephant crocodile?
Yeah, well, giant heavy monster. Like you need feet that are able to support it. So I imagine that's the way they went with it. I have the book actually. I probably should read into it a little more. I know I read a little bit. That's how I knew about the crocodile scales and whatnot. But I do really love the 2014 look. Like, it's an awesome looking monster. Especially since it's a huge monster, too. The biggest.
So far, he's my favorite looking one.
Aw. Better than 62? This guy's amazing. It's my favorite.
Yeah, he's better looking than that.
You
Look at those hideous things on his back. Didn't need to be that big. Unacceptable.
Yes. Bigger's better. Because that's what she said. Ow!
And especially since that guy shot out a fire extinguisher.
I could say the same thing about 2014. That wasn't a blast. That was fire. Also, speaking of the special effects, I thought they were cool. It threw me off, though, because I really love how they did how the dorsal spines would actually like illuminate as it went up. Like it just didn't happen or pulsate or anything. Like it actually had like a path that traveled up, and then it shot out of his mouth when it reached his head.
So does that mean his power came from his tail and his toes?
Yeah, it's just like built up from his butt and just starts moving up.
Oh, no, Godzilla, no.
From the inner bowels. But But then when it came out of his mouth, it actually threw me off for a bit. Like when I first seen it, because I was expecting it to be like a normal Godzilla blast, like especially like the hate.
I'm sorry to let you down, Steve.
I know you haven't seen the Heisei ones, but in the Heisei and the Millennium, it's an actual like beam when he shoots it out.
Special beam cannon?
No, it doesn't have the spiral. It's more like a Kamehameha kind of look.
Okay, so this one's winning then.
Can't win. But the fire effect was still actually pretty cool though. Overall, like it's more realistic in my opinion. Even with the weird radioactive blueness to the flames. Then it didn't seem like it was like super effective. Like he took out the female m.u.t.o for a little while, but she still seemed intact overall. But you figure like, alright, so for how much damage he caused in that kiss of death, you think she would have been a little bit more banged up after he just like literally barfed flames all over her face.
She's just used to taking a few shots in her face. Don't judge her.
I'm sorry.
Don't judge her.
She just needs to learn a little more Greek, I guess.
Yeah. Teach you some knowledge.
So what did you think of the m.u.t.os?
The female was the huge one, right?
Yes, and the flying one was the male.
I don't know why, but every single freaking species, spiders, praying mantis, why are all these like males such a tiny little things that just get eaten at the end by female? Like,
well, because the females are usually the ones that protect the egg, so they have to be bigger. Or protect the young, I should say.
Oh yeah, because the m.u.t.os did such a great job.
We're just there to look good.
Because the m.u.t.os did such a great job protecting their nest on this one.
They tried, and then Ford just kind of wrecked their day with the semi truck that just ran with it. I love also how there's a dragon head there. Like when he threw the flame at it, it's just like you can just see like it's just building up, and then there's like the little dragon head. And seemed appropriate.
I like the suits. I thought the m.u.t.os look all right.
Yeah, I feel like the CGI, like they look pretty good.
I just didn't like the whole concept of female being bigger than me. I mean, I understand it.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things like that. So what were they saying? That they're like insects?
Kind of, they're parasites. They live off of other creatures' radiation. Like generally, when they laid their eggs, they were laying in like in the carcass of another monster, like a Godzilla they killed.
Did you know that bed bugs, the females are bigger than males, and then males when it mates, it just has like a pointy knife in its butt and pokes it through the belly and cuts it?
Knowledge, people.
That's how they mate. They just poke them.
I know praying mantises eat their mate.
Yeah, see, like there's just. So what was going to
Well,
happen?
like, thanks for that, buddy.
So what was going to be with that poor m.u.t.o? Like, what was going to end up with him?
Oh, we saw what happened. He was trying to defend the nest while she was just kind of laying over top of it, and then he failed.
So she had to show him how it's done.
Yeah, and then she tried to show him how it's done. She was failing, and then they tag teamed him, and then male m.u.t.o was like Macho Man Randy Savage off the top ropes. That was amazing. Quite awesome.
Yes, it was.
But my opinion on the m.u.t.os, I actually thought they were pretty cool. Definitely not like the best looking monsters in all of Godzilla history. But I do like the appearance of the monsters though. Like they seemed kind of ripped off of a lot of other kind of creatures that we've seen over the years. Like the arachnids from Starship Troopers, they look pretty heavily inspired by those guys. Alien.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah, like hold on. Which I know from my review for this guy, a lot of people were saying like, oh hey, that guy looks like a m.u.t.o. I was like, no, the m.u.t.os look like him. So he came out in 1998. This is the warrior bug from Starship Troopers. Which actually looked pretty heavily inspired by this guy. And they're kind of like the monsters they were going with, because I know originally they were trying to get Rodan in the original movie, which I imagine is why they went towards the flying m.u.t.o, which is just kind of like this guy.
So why wasn't Rodan in the first one?
They couldn't get the rights. There's a lot of rights things. Like, they only could really get just Godzilla. Plus, there's also, like, concept drawings that have shown up, too, where Godzilla actually looked more dinosaur. Kind of like 98. But he still had, like, the overall Godzilla look to him, though. Like, it was just, like, Godzilla that was hunched over a little more. But he was fighting, like, a kind of, like, Anguirus ripoff and also a Rodan ripoff in the movie.
That thing that was the suit was so... Yeah.
I like the 98. And it was just like they mated with an alien, like they got impregnated by like a face hugger, just like snatched itself onto an arachnid. And that's how we got the m.u.t.os. So I'm gonna go with.
That's actually how it would work too. Because
pretty much it came out of there, and then it would have like lashed. It would have like Alien versus Predator. Alien just like suck its face onto the other Godzilla and then shut eggs into it.
Yeah, because the face huggers just pretty much take a form of whatever they kill, you know.
Yeah. See? Hey!
That's how they did it.
We're trying to make it work. But the MUTOs were sweet. Overall, like, I really loved them when I went and saw the movie. Like, they were pretty impressive looking monsters. Definitely wouldn't be in my top 10 of favorite Godzilla monsters, but I would give them an honorable mention.
I like that they use new monsters in a new movie.
It is nice, though. Like, instead of just, like, reusing older monsters, actually trying to make something a little bit original, which is cool. Because, like, in the Gamera trailer, even though we kind of bashed on the newer monster they showed a little bit, I do like that they're trying to introduce a new monster if that's actually going to be in the movie, instead of it just being the Gauss again. So in the end, if you guys haven't seen Godzilla 2014, definitely recommend you go check it out. Like, I love the movie overall. I still actually watch it on occasion.
Definitely.
Movie is awesome. Especially, as a warning, movie's awesome at the beginning. There's a little bit of a low point. Movie's awesome at the end. But even like the low point, still entertaining.
Somewhat entertaining. They used somebody else would have been better. Like April O'Neil, man. She was just,
Just need Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Because I would have made this better. Why not Michael Bay? Have Michael Bay Godzilla.
He would just kick a building and it'll explode for no reason.
Yeah, just explosions everywhere. Like a giant robot.
Or Transformers. Oh god.
I'm sorry, Transformers. Please, Michael Bay, just give it to somebody else. Please.
Stop it.
Please give it to somebody else.
Stop it.
Your first and third movie were okay. The second one, I only enjoy it because I like making fun of it so much. Fourth one is literally unwatchable. Unwatchable.
You know it's really good when it comes out on Netflix like a few days after it comes on DVD.
No. It's not.
And Courtney was like, "Oh man, we need to buy this on DVD." Get the no.
Yeah, how huge of a Transformer fan I am. I don't even have that movie.
I was like, "Get the fuck."
I couldn't buy it.
She's
Couldn't
like,
do
"I
it.
need to rent this then." No, you don't. No.
I even watched it on Netflix. I heard Jessica watch it the one day. I was like, you turn that off.
Don't you support that thing?
You both have that on my feed. CG in this movie is awesome. Acting, I think it's still really good. Even though I guess you could argue for it, but for the most part, still actually really good acting in it. Story works.
Story's a lot better than I thought it would have been, honestly. I mean, I gotta admit that part of
Yeah,
it.
it definitely was one of those movies. I was going into it expecting it to suck. Like, royally. Like,
Yeah.
I was expecting to be like, just another 98 where it just did not feel like a Godzilla movie, where this actually feels like a continuation of the Godzilla series.
98 never existed, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's not even a Godzilla movie anymore.
Uh,
Technically.
I don't know what you're talking about. My DVD at home still says Godzilla on it.
I know, and I'm sorry for that. But, what do you guys think of Godzilla 2014? Please let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought of that movie. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.